Nicola lives in a small village that rarely sees trouble. That is until it gets attacked by demi-dragons. However, Nicola is saved by a strange man named Haga. Nicola observes him doing strange things, most notably writing things down before using a stone to send a beam of light to the sky. She deduces that he's a seeker, a special unit of the king sent to observe strange phenomena. Just then the village comes under attack by a massive demi-dragon. Haga attacks it with a massive stockpile of arrows and explosives. With the villagers' help, he defeats the monster. However, out of nowhere, Nicola and the other villagers burst into flames. Haga reveals that Seekers are just another word for debuggers and that the world is a video game called King Seekers Online. That no matter what he did, the village and the villagers still die. A flashback shows that Haga was part of a team sent to look for bugs in the game, but were unable to log out and have been stuck for a year. That night, Haga is about to send another message to the developers using his debugger stone when Nicola shows up at his tent. Haga is still confused as to how Nicola came back. Now Nicola says that she wants to join him on his journey and be a seeker. The two travel to a small town where they repeatedly test the wall by running along it and jumping into it to see if they glitch into it or not. They camp outside the walls when they run into two other debuggers, Sakai and Samita. Sakai explains that they're part of a group of debuggers who have been using debug mode to do whatever they want, and they want Haga to join them. This angers Haga, and he refuses. So Samita repeatedly attacks them with his charge skill and using debug mode to move through the walls. However, Haga tricks him into falling outside the map as Haga steals his debug stone. Sakai runs away. Haga decides he needs to take Nicola to meet the rest of his team at the Advent altar. Haga and Nicola make it to the Advent altar. Haga uses his experience of repeatedly going to this place to quickly move through it. However, Nicola gets distracted by coins on the ground, which triggers a trap set by monsters. Haga quickly defeats the monsters. As Nicola sits down, she asks where Haga's allies are. He reveals that she's actually sitting on one of them. Flashbacks show that Haga's team started abusing debug mode after they couldn't log out. One got permanently glitched into the floor, another is stuck in an endless death cycle, and one flew into the sky never to be seen again. The leader of Haga's team left to finish the game, hoping it would allow them to log out, while Haga stayed behind to keep debugging and hopefully free the two stuck. Haga says he's now decided to move on as he has never been able to save the other two. As they're about to leave, Nicola steals both Haga's and Samita's debug stones. She has been possessed by the game's meta AI program named Tesla. Tesla tells Haga he must find the other crooked debuggers and steal their stones so she can destroy them, thus revoking their debugger status. Otherwise, their constant destruction will make it so the game is never finished. As the two continue their journey, they come across an unknown village where the NPCs are stuck in T-pose. Haga and Nicola go around gathering info on the buggy village before submitting their report. The next day, the villagers are fixed, but the two run into a small furry creature walking in T-pose. It uses magic to turn invisible, but its footprints led them to its house. The creature is revealed as another debugger named Amano. He was part of the crooked debuggers, but left them and left his debug stone behind as he was disgusted with their actions. He then stayed with an NPC named Lou, who appreciates his work of writing manga. The boss of the crooked debuggers arrives at the village, crushing it with a demi-dragon. Lou unfortunately dies from her injuries. Amano vows revenge on the crooked debuggers. The three begin their journey to the castle, where the crooked debuggers have been using as a HQ. Along the way, Haga gets Tesla to return to explain the situation to Amano. The three arrive at the castle only to see the bridge destroyed. The team goes to a nearby tower where Haga uses a glitch to launch them all the way to the castle. The three enter the castle through the main gate. This triggers a quest where they're arrested by the guards. They are brought to the cells, but find out they're in a separated area from the crooked debuggers. They use this to travel freely through the castle. They end up in the torture chambers where Nicola uncovers chests filled with inappropriate sexual items. They're then confronted by a monster that speaks in English and uses a lot of profanity. Haga defeats the monster while having Nicola fill out a report on its profane language. The three move to where the final boss of their quest is, but instead use a hole in the ceiling to move up to where the boss of the Crooked Debuggers is, while also setting a delayed pack of explosives to kill the game boss. That way, when the game boss dies, they will glitch back into the main game and sneak up on the Crooked Debuggers. Along the way, they're confronted by a huge knight who disappears in the middle of the fight. Meanwhile, Sakai and the other Crooked Debuggers talk about how they have become tired of following their boss's orders. Heiga and the others make it into the boss's room and hide in a chest just as the explosives go off. The boss talks to the others about wanting to complete the campaign in order to log out. Amano peeks outside the chest only to see Sakai and the others stabbing the boss. After killing the boss, Sakai and the other Crooked Debuggers say they want to stay in the game world. They leave, and the trio comes out of the chest. Amano is frustrated he didn't get his revenge and that it didn't bring Lou back. Heiga has Tesla devour the boss's debugger stone. As they leave, the tower starts falling apart as the Crooked Debuggers are removing stones from the boss's tower for a game. The tower falls and Heiga and the others come out from the rubble and come face to face with Sakai's team. Heiga grabs the others and tries to make it to the gate to trigger the quest again, but gets attacked repeatedly and stopped by Sakai and the others. They offer a spot for Amano, who appears to accept, but instead uses a wind spell to blast the others past the gate. This triggers a bug, freezing all the Crooked Debuggers permanently, which was Heiga's actual plan. They destroy all their debugger stones, and Heiga wants to go back into the castle to fully debug it. However, they are confronted by the boss. Amano immediately attacks him, but the boss secretly tells him that there's a way to bring Lou back. As they fully confirm the area is now going back to the way it should, Amano contemplates whether he should meet the boss to find out this secret. The trio stays the night at a nearby inn. Heiga stays up late filling out reports while Amano leaves to go to the boss's destroyed tower. He finds his old debugger stone where the boss said it was and makes a deal with him. The two ride out to Lou's village to bring her back in exchange for Amano helping the boss beat the game. Amano successfully revives Lou, but she has no memory of Amano. Meanwhile, Heiga and Nicola go to change Nicola's class. She wants to be a thief like Heiga, but due to her NPC status, she can't be anything other than a villager. Heiga lies and says that there's an age requirement. They go to find a weapon for Nicola and come across a magic cannon device that scales in power to the user's potential. However, since Nicola doesn't have an actual potential, it instead bugs out and fires at max power. Meanwhile, Amano is camping out with the boss when the boss is killed by the knight Heiga fought earlier. Amano returns to the inn with the knight, who reveals herself as another debugger named Akira. Akira tells Heiga and Amano that she was investigating the Crooked Debuggers herself when she ran into them and accidentally got pulled into their quest. She says she wants to live a normal life in the game world, and after hearing Heiga refuse to use debug mode, she backed off. She also decided to join the team. Heiga and Amano accept her, but decide to keep Tesla a secret. The next day, Heiga decides the team should journey to the Kingdom of Stamoa to continue their debugging quest. Along the way, they find giants running away in fear and come across a super strong child NPC named Gadel. He tells them that a seeker named Yamanaka made him his apprentice and is the reason he became so strong and has been protecting his village from giants ever since. Gadel takes them to his village, but Heiga, Amano, and Akira notice a lot of tension between the other villagers and Gadel. Heiga sneaks out in the middle of the night and spies on the village warriors plotting to kill Gadler, as they have grown tired of his reckless and destructive behavior. Heiga is caught by the villagers. He asks them what happened to Gadel. They say Yamanaka showed up one day and then disappeared with Gadel for 3 days. When Gadel returned, he was in his overpowered form. Heiga goes to his friends for help, but Akira says to just kill him. As they're talking, Akira hears fighting. They rush to Gadel, who has already slaughtered the other warriors. Heiga decides to track Gadel as he runs away to find Yamanaka and get him to explain what he did. A flashback shows that Yamanaka wanted to help Gadel become a fighter, but while messing with his stats, he made him way overpowered. Gadel finds Yamanaka in an unfinished dungeon, unable to speak. Another flashback shows Yamanaka got stuck as essentially a spirit when he tried free camera mode on his debugger stone. Tesla steps in and devours Yamanaka's debugger stone, trapping Yamanaka and Gatel as they are permanently. This sends Gatel into a rage and he attacks Tesla. Heiga and Akira try to fight him, but can't even scratch him. Amano uses Nicola's blaster, but only wounded him. Seeing what he has become, Yamanaka comes to regret his decision to make Gatel super strong. Heiga grabs Akira and Nicola, and along with Amano flee the cave. Heiga and the others retreat to the village to evacuate the villagers, but they refuse to leave. Gatel storms in and rampages the village. He only stops when he sees kids cowering from him and realizes the monster he has become. Just then, he starts bleeding massively and dies. Akira used her debugger stone to use the kill command on Gatel. Heiga is upset by this, but Akira threatens him, saying she has grown tired of his debugging obsession. She stopped when giants attack the village. With no other option, the heroes flee and watch the village burn. Nicola is still unconscious from Gatel's attack, so they decide to go to the Kingdom of Sai. A month later, the team makes it and meets with Akira's allies Run and Akane. They have Heiga and Akira do a ritual to ease their stress by burning papers with complaints on them, where Heiga writes his name as Makano. Later, they meet with Akira's leader, Alba, who awakens Nicola, but she awakens as Tesla and attacks Alba. Tesla reveals Alba is another meta AI program and that each of the 5 countries in the game has one. Tesla begins to interrogate Alba as to what he's doing trying to act like the king of this country. The team retires for the night when Tesla asks Heiga to submit a report on Alba's behavior. Just as Heiga is about to hit send, Alba uses his power to send him to a dungeon. The next day, Rin talks with Alba, revealing the stress relief ritual was part of a trap, so Alba could use his powers on Heiga. However, Rin states that Amano, Akira, and Akane were part of it as well. So, they too were sent to a different part of the dungeon. Heiga explores and finds a library where he meets a crystal creature debugger named Kinoshita. She says she was originally a lizard person until she tried armor on that bugged out and got her stuck in her current form. She too was mysteriously teleported into the dungeon she says is called the Diamond, and says her and Heiga are on the very last floor of it. Meanwhile, Amano and the others find a casino where Akane quickly loses all her money and goes into debt. She tries to leave without paying off her debt, but is blocked. She's told the only way to pay off her debt is by letting the casino staff harvest her organs. Heiga plans to escape the dungeon by going through the upper floors, but Kinoshita reveals that to do that they would have to get past the dungeon's final boss, a giant goat creature named Silence. Heiga finds out Silence reacts to any sound in his vicinity. Knowing he is unable to fight it on his own, him and Kinoshita retreat to the library, hoping one of the books will show a weakness. Meanwhile, Amano tries to win Akane's freedom by betting his own organs in a game of poker. He starts to win thanks to a bug in the deck, but loses due to another bug that cost him all his chips. Out of nowhere, Heiga appears and has the others use a wall-clipping bug to escape the casino, but the casino AIs turn into monsters and chase them back to the raid boss Silence. Heiga tells the others to not say a word when they enter the room and find it covered in books. A flashback shows that Heiga found out the books make no sound when struck, so he used them as stepping stones to escape the raid room. The monsters end up getting slaughtered by Silence. Kinoshita triggers a trap to kill Silence. Meanwhile, Rin tells Nicola that Heiga and the others left her behind and tell her to go home. She starts traveling back, but realizes Rin must have lied and the others are most likely still there. As she starts traveling back, the others soon find out that Silence is a multiple phase type boss.